Herald-Times sports editor Chris Korman here, joined by Dustin Dopirak and third row Hugh Kellenberger.
He's in the back.
We'll play a drum solo at some point during this recording.
I like this idea. Yep.
We promise you. We are at Assembly Hall, site of Indiana's 80-68 loss to Maryland in the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Not doing their part to help the Big Ten.
No.
How has the Big Ten done so far?
They were, I think they were 3-0 at last check. I don't know what they've done
UNC
since.
was beating Michigan State pretty badly.
That's not surprising me all that much.
Yeah. So it's going to be close, but ACC will get it.
Yeah. Everybody thought this was the year.
Yeah.
It's a letdown.
Got to fill the column inches somehow.
True. Don't tell them that. They think what
That's
I write.
not why we wrote these stories.
We didn't write those stories.
We didn't. Everybody else did. This is true.
Okay, what stories did we write for tomorrow? Let's go over those.
We wrote about how Indiana didn't defend well and did not play good offense against the zone.
Tom Crean was upset today. First of all, he was upset with some vulgarities being screamed by mostly, we think, students.
Yeah, there was from the student section. They were all wearing white. They looked young. Safe to say they were students.
Yeah.
A naughty word for the female anatomy directed at a Maryland player.
I believe it was Gravis Vasquez was getting that treatment.
Yeah.
He was on the free throw line at the time. So.
Crean stormed into the meeting room, demanded that the cameras be turned on, and started expressing his displeasure.
That he did.
Which was
launched into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not happy at all.
Also tried to get the microphone beforehand.
Right. Tried to pull the Bob Knight.
Yes, he did.
Right.
But the referees would not allow him to do that. Apparently, that's a rule now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
it's a rule. You got to hang a banner before they allow you to just have the microphone.
Wow,
Hugh.
There it is.
I think it's a cred thing.
Crean was also not pleased with the way his team played defense. He continually said, he actually asked us not to ask any of the players about offense.
Yeah. That was just kind of odd.
Ken Bycock is dancing in front of us.
He's an impressive
that was nimble.
That he is. Well, we wish
actually
you could have seen
that.
Actually, a member of
the IU dance team.
Yeah, he is on the dance team.
Associate professor.
Back to defense. Quickly.
Right, now. Just said, basically, just said ball pressure wasn't good enough, team wasn't tough enough, team did not attack it the way they should have. They were, it was one of the rare occasions after they actually been able to play man the whole time. There was, barely ever in zone, only a couple possessions, but, just kind of got lackadaisical. Maryland shoots 56.5%, I think, in the second half. At a 16-4 run in there, basically, and they just said, it wasn't defendable enough.
Yeah, Hugh brought this up, but Indiana really, what seemed to happen as much as, because, you go ask the kids, well, why didn't you work on defense? Oh, we need to execute better. There's really no answer, but what I think really happened was that they started missing on offense, and that not only, put the rebound out there. These kids really carry it with them.
Right.
They carried it with them, and then when they started making up the baskets, the crowd got really into it, and it became this emotional lift. They were just running faster during their stretches. When they weren't scoring offensively, they also looked tired.
Yeah.
They weren't moving well defensively. They weren't moving well in the open court. They weren't moving well on offense. And then they'd make a basket, and suddenly they had energy again.
Yeah. Right. But even their legs really weren't in their shots down the stretch. I don't know what they shot from three in the last 10 minutes or whatever. It couldn't have been that good. And it just seemed like a lot of stuff was coming up short.
Which is interesting because Maryland actually, probably had more of a right to be tired. Obviously, a little bit of a deeper team, but Indiana plays a lot of guys. Yeah, they came back from Maui, which is a later tournament and a much longer flight, and they ended up playing some really beast teams out there, Cincinnati and Wisconsin.
They didn't play well.
Had to go through that, but so they bounced back. It's sort of one of those things. In the ebb and flow of a basketball season, you could tell that was a game Maryland really needed. Indiana obviously wanted it, but this team is still, as we've said, it's still so young. It just has you watch it and you think, man, these kids are, there's just no. I don't even know if it's leadership, but it's just knowing how. There's just no know-how. There's nobody who's calm under pressure, who's going to go get that basket, who's going to go get that stop, which is stuff Crean's been saying all the time.
Absolutely. You can just tell whenever there is a lead that it's going to go away at some point in time. Not even to say just to be mean about it or whatever, but really, when they're up on a team like Maryland, it's fleeting because, there's guys that they can, again, it's been said 1,000 times, it was even said by, I guess Raftery was on the radio show last night saying this, there's just not a guy they can lean on and just say, all right, it's tough right now, it's just, I need, my senior or my star to go get me some points. There's nobody to do that. Even, and it comes back to, even the guy that's there, the closest into a rock they have is Rivers, and, he can't hit from, 10 feet out, with any regularity, and he can't really, doesn't really hit a lot of free throws either. So it's just like he has a certain skill set that's obviously a positive to this club, but he's not a complete offensive player, and that's an issue. You can't just say, Jeremiah, just get me some points and settle this thing
There's nobody
out.
like that.
Yeah, Verdell tried to be that guy tonight.
Right.
He, about 5 possessions in a row, he drove on that zone and tried to maneuver his way to the basket, but he's just not strong enough. He got pushed off.
He got pushed off. He'd get to the bucket, and he'd hit some resistance.
And somehow have to take a shot falling away from the basket, and that's just not a high percentage shot, no matter how close you are.
Yeah, even when he got, and actually, I think he had a left-handed layup in there. Then he just meets some resistance right before the basket that changes the shot. He doesn't get it. He's not getting he's not getting easy layups in there. He's got to deal with some size, and it's an issue. I mean, he is still skinny.
Although if you do take out if Jones, Elston, and Dumas, you take out their shots, the rest of the team was over 50% or right after.
Yeah, Dumas still.
Yeah, if you take out
those three, took a lot of.
Yeah, if you take out a combined 35 shots, then
by 3 guys. So
yeah, Jones was 3 for 15. Mm-hmm. Creek 6 for 14.
Well, Elston really, were they bad shots, or were they just? There was again just a case of a guy meeting bigger resistance inside. Did he take a shot outside of 10 feet?
This team needs to learn. That's
it's a bad shot in the sense that
Jones should be a little bit further along.
Right. It's a bad shot in the sense of, gee, it didn't work the first 4 times. Why am I going to do it again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. There's some truth to that.
Yeah. Now this team right now, sort of where it is, feels really similar. Dustin, you weren't here last year, but Indiana went into the ACC game, and then they had Gonzaga up in Indy, and then they had Kentucky, and it was sort of the same sort of feeling. Just you're gonna have to go through 3 teams, and I just don't know. You kind of look at it and say, okay, we're gonna learn so much about Indiana. Yeah. But I just think they're gonna have to slog through. I don't know.
Yeah. No. I guess the one difference, like even obviously again I wasn't here, but as Treen said, they did have a chance. As opposed to, you get the impression that that's the difference. Maybe they still don't win these games, but
they also had a chance playing the way they wanted to. Last year they were constantly adjusting, constantly changing game plans, constantly keeping it conservative. Mm-hmm. But I just think this team is going to go into Madison Square Garden, a historic place to play, there on 34th Street. Yeah. Just an amazing venue. It pops their eyes open a little bit. It's that little edge. It's going to be different. Whereas Pitt, which doesn't have a lot returning, but has guys who've been in the program. They've been to Madison Square Garden.
They've seen this. And they've seen Madison Square Garden. They've been there. They've seen DeJuan Blair and Sam Young play there and all that. So, yeah.
Crean does have a week to sort of tweak with this team. That game isn't until
December
Tuesday.
8th. Yeah, it's 1 week.
Yeah, so I'm sure he'll get some work in there and has different things he'll want to tighten up, and it should be interesting to see how they respond to that week. Always a young team, when they get back into the gym and have a little time to practice, especially after so many games in so many days. It's interesting to see how they come out.
Well, they had a week after Puerto Rico. Well, of course, they had to take 2 days off.
Right.
Still.
Yeah, I'm interested if he backs off a little bit in practice and lets them try to get their legs back under them as much as they can for that Pitt, Kentucky.
Yeah. And the other news from today, I guess we probably won't post this until later when this goes live. But Mike Freitag will not be retained as the Indiana soccer coach. There's been a lot of speculation. Indiana lost 10 games for the first time this year, bowed out in the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament. Freitag obviously won the national title. His first season, 2004, took over for Jerry Yeagley, and they won a back-to-back title. Since then, Freitag hasn't been to the College Cup, meaning the last 2 Indiana classes to go through the soccer program were the first 2 ever to not make it to a College Cup. So the program had, as a lot of people had noticed, had declined in a lot of ways. Freitag, I talked to him today. He said that he could sleep well at night. Thinks he was proud of the work he did. Thought he gave it his all. Said he was disappointed. Said he thought, quite frankly, Indiana soccer is always going to be Jerry Yeagley's program, and if Yeagley was upset with how things were going, then there was probably going to be a change. And couldn't get a hold of Yeagley. Fred Glass said he looked at everything. They met with the players almost immediately after the North Carolina game, after they got back Sunday night, and got some feedback, and then met with Freitag, and then made an evaluation. He said his evaluation, he just sort of came up with it and decided the program wasn't headed in the right direction. It wasn't necessarily just the record. So we'll have all sorts of feedback from that tomorrow, I'm sure. Some of the candidates obviously are going to be Todd Yeagley, Jerry's son, who's at Wisconsin now, only been there a year. Caleb Porter, who's coaching the number 1 team in the country, been number 1 for most of the year. They're still in the tournament, Akron. And Brian Mason, who's an assistant in Louisville, one of the better players ever to play for IU, and had one of the more stellar pro and national team careers, is considered a bright young assistant. So we'll see where that goes. Thanks as always for joining us. Sorry I didn't get your feedback on the soccer guys. I know you haven't been there.
Yeah. I had so much to say there.
You kick a ball. Talk to you later. Bye.